I was saying to Liam beforehand, it's funny how a disappointment, and it was a disappointing result which you acknowledged, is put into a different context when Hearts face them, but then on the flip side is then you end up not getting that place in the next round.
Yeah, look, we're disappointed with the result, but I think if you look at the whole Betfred as a whole, all the sections, there's games where teams are expected to win, don't win just because you're at that stage of pre-season. And I look back at it and we ended up, we played 4 games in 12 days, which was quite intense, and there was only a couple of teams that did that. So look, we have to just move on from it. It was disappointing, but we've got a big game on Saturday.
Cliche, I know, but sometimes managers feel they'll earn more in a difficult performance than they do in an easy victory.
Yeah, definitely, but you see the course of all pre-seasons, being there before, you can win every game, you think everything's rosy, and then you get into the first game and you're down, and you're kicking from there, or you can lose all your games, and in the first game of pre-season you're at it, that's the first game of the season you're at it, so it's what we do this Saturday with the most important thing.
I saw you were at the game on Sunday. The nature of the championship season, I think, coming up, you're going to be busy every Friday night, even if you're not playing. Is that quite good in the way that you're able to see your competition in competitive matches before the pre-season before the season starts?
It definitely helps. You can see what their strongest team are, what they put them out. So I'd watched Inverness previously as well, and they're much the same as they were last year. You look at the team, a couple of changes, obviously Keaton's and Vincent coming in, but other than that, pretty much same team, same style that they've been playing. So it's interesting to see that, and obviously to see Dundee. I haven't seen them yet, so I'll go down on Friday night and watch them again against Inverness.
How are things shaping up overall then? I know you've made a few changes to the squad. We've had Rashid away, Callum away. You would probably want to keep one of those potentially. You've got to move people into the squad to create spaces, but I'm guessing you're still looking to bring more people in.
Yeah, we'll look to bring one more in, but other than that, that'll put us done. Maybe one or two leave after that as well, just depending how they feel about their game time as well, and how we feel. But we felt that Callum had Sporley come in and Robson was there, but also with Bahina, his wife didn't really settle. We felt it was better for her to go home and then get an offer to go somewhere else. So it worked out well for both clubs and the player. So we decided on that one, but I have to leave space for the young kids as well. We've got a really good group of players coming through. The ones that are in about the first team just now, and ones that are going to be in there the next probably 6 months to a year. So I think it's important that we leave a pathway for them. And if somebody's going to be getting 10-15 minutes here and there, then it's better to get these guys than a seasoned professional who doesn't need that development. So I think that the squad's looking good at the moment.
Has that been a benefit, obviously, that you guys like Louis and Banks coming in, just to show that they're capable to play at the first team level here?
Yeah, look, I spoke to them all before the end of the season and said to them that when we came back in the first 2 weeks, everyone was together, so that was like the kids right from 16 all the way up to the first team, and it was up to them to prove that they were good enough to get in the squad. The guys, that group of players that have been in the squad, went away close season, worked really hard, looked after themselves, came back flying, and they've managed to get in. Louis went from, he was at Porty Ferry last season, and he's now he's down at Shrewsbury starting for us, playing at Tynecastle. So it shows that the pathway is there, the opportunity is there if the players look after themselves, if the players push hard and they continue to work, and we hope that there's a few more behind them as well.
Obviously, when you were at the Championship with Hearts, you had to play a lot of young players. A lot of young players stepped up to the mark. I was speaking to Liam because I know he kind of got parachuted in because of injury and had a spell in the Hearts team, but it was a difficult spell for him in some ways. He wasn't able to maybe show the player he has been able to show at St Mirren and United the last 2 years, and it's just that kind of difference of playing regularly and playing with that first team confidence.
Yeah, it depends what manager you're having at the time. Liam, I brought Liam in at the first team group when I was at Hearts and played European games for us. He was at the first team, and then I left and the next guy came in and didn't really fancy him, but that's the way football is. So the first team manager will decide who plays. If he likes the player, then he'll play, and Liam's probably unfortunate. I always believed they had the ability to play at the highest level, and I hope he can still prove that, and I think he's doing that here just now. But for our younger ones, they'll get the chance. It's up to them to then go and prove that they can stay in the team.
You mentioned about bringing one more in. Is there a player that you've identified in a wide position, or are you basically just looking around between now and the end of the month?
We've got one we've identified, one that we feel pretty close to getting in. We'd like to try and get it done by the end of this week if possible, which would be great, and then once we do that, that's us more than happy with what we've got.
That's great business, because if you can get everyone in now, then you can crack on.
Yeah, you want them all in first day of pre-season, but it never works like that. You want everything, all the business done, but you know, always takes time, but if we can get it in before the first game of the season, the league game, that'd be important for us because it gives us that wee period of time to gel everything together.
Robbie, in terms of Bahina's departure, you touched on his wife didn't settle. Was it more family reasons rather than footballing reasons?
Yeah, look, he spoke to me first day of pre-season, came in and just said that the conversation with his wife that, you know, I think she'd come over with the kids and wasn't really settled, you know, had an opportunity to send her back to France and then go somewhere else, you know, and he asked my thoughts on it, you know, so we had a good chat about it, and then we let him do a bit of work in the background. Tony worked on it as well, and we came to a conclusion where all parties were happy with it, and you know, he goes with best wishes. You know, I think the age he's at, 28 now, you know, and he's got a young family that weren't really settled. I think it's important that, you know, we don't just look at the football side of it, but also the lifestyle side of it for him and the family side. So, you know, he was a great guy. I liked him as a person. He did well for us towards the end of the season, but you know, it's just one of those things in football.
It's maybe a side of football that fans, media kind of maybe forget it's all about football rather than actually thinking about people moving country. I mean, ideally, if he was happy, he and his family were settled, would he have kind of been still a member of the squad?
You know, when a football player comes to a club, they walk into the dressing room and they get 20 minutes right away. You know, they get people to socialise with. They're here, you know, they get a reason to get up in the morning to come in, and then their wives come with the kids and they get stuck in a flat, you know. Nobody to speak to, they don't speak the language. You know, the kids weren't at an age yet that they were at school, so, you know, I think she was finding it quite hard. You know, and then Rashid was great when he was in here, but I think when he was going home he was finding it quite difficult, in that, you know, he's got a wife that's maybe not as happy as he'd like her to be. So we have to look at everything, and you know, yes, it's important that they're here and they're playing football, but also, you know, they're human beings as well, you know, and we felt that Rashid felt it would be better to take his wife back to the family back in France, and we came to a conclusion on it. And
you mentioned you were at the Dundee Inverness game at Sunday. You kind of talked about what you thought about Inverness, but have you gauged what you kind of think at Dundee at this point?
Yeah, I watched them earlier in the season in their friendlies. This is the first time I've seen them in competitive games, so just interesting to go and see them. You know, there's only a couple of teams I've not seen yet. You know, I'll watch Dunfermline Dundee again Friday night and then try and take the rest of them in, because, you know, everyone's changing. You know, to be honest, Inverness are probably the one team that haven't changed that much. Everyone else has, and you know, Dundee are the same. So it's just getting to know our players, getting to know the systems that they play.
Do you feel excitement in the city of Dundee in general is starting to build to a point heading into this league campaign? Of course, the Dundee derby returning, two teams kind of making quite a few signings as well and strengthening over the summer. Do you think even excitement in the city is building?
Yeah, I think it will, definitely. You know, I think that, you know, both teams have invested, both teams have brought in players that you know, will do very well in the championship. And I think both teams will be expected to be up at the top end of the league. You know, and everything's, you know, looking good for a decent derby, I think, at the end of the month.
You've managed to get your full pre-season in.
Yep.
You've got 4 competitive games in the Betfred Cup, game against Shrewsbury, difficult game against English opposition. Do you feel Dundee United are ready to take this league on this year?
Yeah, look, we're looking forward to it. You know, I think the boys are fit now. You know, we've got a good squad. We've had, you know, probably just over a month's pre-season. You know, so I think we're in good condition, and we're excited about going forward now. You know, a great game Saturday. You want to play your opening game at home. You want to get 3 points. You want to start well. We've got an opportunity to do it.
You mentioned about when a footballer comes in to a football club, instantly they've got 20 friends obviously around them, and obviously that helps with them settling. Do you feel that there is that great bond that's established with these new players that have come in to?
Yeah, I do. I genuinely do. You know, I think previously we had a rule where everyone to stay within 25 miles, and you know, we decided when I came in and then speak to Tony that we'd take that away, but we found that the players that we brought in have all come into that area anyway without actually being forced to come in. You know, so we've got guys now that are bringing their families here, and they're starting to come together a little bit. You know, and it will take a bit of time, but there's a definite togetherness in the team. And I think I can see it far more than there was last year, that's for sure.
Yeah, that kind of would help, obviously, if all the families are mingling and things.
Yeah, I think when you force somebody to move into an area, you know, they maybe don't want to be there, but if you just allow them to, you know, naturally come into it, then they're more happy, the families are more happy. You know, I think we've managed to do that.
Inverness coming up on Saturday at Tandis, first home game of the season. Really important to get the 3 points on the board for that one.
Yes, you know, every team will say the same. You want to get 3 points as quick as you can. You want to get a victory. You want to start pushing on from there. So it's an opportunity on Saturday. You know, if you'd asked me if I wanted home or away first game, I'd have said home. you know, and it's a great opportunity for us.
There are probably 3, 4, 5 teams that could potentially win this league from there. Teams will lose points from here to here. Is it important, obviously, that the fans understand that we won't win as a club all the games week in, week out?
Yeah, obviously, look, you get into the season, you want to win every single game, but you've got to realise that, you know, we'll win, we'll have some good results or some bad results. It's a case of how quickly we can bounce back from that. You know, we saw that last year. We had, you know, 5 or 6 wins in the bounce, and then we had a couple of losses. You know, and it's just a case of trying to remain balanced. You know, it's football. You know, it's how you recover from the knocks more so than how you push on for the victories.
408 fans took the journey down to Shrewsbury last week. How pleased was that when you
That
went
was
down?
brilliant, to be honest with you. Absolutely brilliant. You know what? I think there were like 6-7 hours getting down, and some of them travelled straight back up again. So look, it shows the support, it shows the togetherness of the club. You know, it's important that, you know, if they come and follow us, we give them something back. You know, the boys give them the energy every week. You know, hard work, and look, there'll be results where they don't get a victory, but I think the main thing that I keep reiterating to players is, as long as you get there and you give 100% and you make your tackles and you try and win the game and be positive, then the fans will back you. And, you know, we saw that Saturday.